From a certain point of view. I'm joined today by several special guests, thanks to my friend J.M. Saberslinger, who I met at Star Wars Celebration 6 like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago at this point. So thanks for coming on, JM, and you can introduce your wonderful friends that you brought here on the show today.
Absolutely. First, we have my friend Dawn Bright. Say hi, Dawn.
Hi.
I like to introduce her as the fastest rising superstar within the Star Wars costuming community, both Rebel Legion and 501st. She is a member of both with a multitude of costumes, and she has won the Best in Show award for Disney's D23, I believe, twice in a row. Is that correct, Dawn?
I won WonderCon, and D23 has only had one at this point, and I won the first one, Best in Show.
Right. She is basically the face of Star Wars Reed's Day from last year, which was her first year of being a member of Rebel Legion and 501st. And she's basically on every kind of fan media that has anything related to do with Star Wars, apparently, if Facebook is correct. So I would like to talk to her today about her experiences and her viewpoints as being a member of a Rebel Legion and 501st, and maybe her history with costuming. And we also have my friend Jennifer Clark, who is one of our newest members for the group formerly known as the Inland Empire Saber Team, and we're doing a rebranding. We're changing our name to something else. And she's expanding us into the San Diego area. She has graciously sacrificed parts of her body by joining a local Filipino martial arts academy. And she smiles beautifully, but she's actually in agony and pain because I'm sure parts of her fingers and extremities are broken from all those severe stick weapon strikes.
Just a few bruises.
She's also a former art director and my absolute favorite fan fiction author. And one of the things I'd like to start off with today is, Knights of the Old Republic hit the Star Wars community by storm. And these two beautiful, wonderfully smart people, or my friends, I think have different opinions on a central character called Darth Revan, or just Revan. Dawn, on one hand, has met, I believe you met the artist, right, who drew Darth Revan?
Long story short, yes.
So tell us about that encounter, if you would.
Well, I have met the person who put the face to Darth Revan, and he informed me that Lucasfilms came to him and asked him to do some art of Darth Revan, and he said, what exactly does he look like? And they basically looked at him and said, you tell us. So he drew himself. And apparently, from that point forward, whenever they have done an image of Darth Revan, they have basically used Jason Palmer's face, in a nutshell.
And thus he became male, canonically speaking, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Alrighty. Well, Jennifer, you and I believe we both agree that according to the story, perhaps it should be another way. What do you think?
I think Revan is hands down female. It makes for so much of a better story if Revan is female. On top of that, we get so many male characters in the Star Wars universe and very few female characters. I think it would have also been just a nice addition to sort of have another, female character in that mix. And Revan definitely would be way better as a woman.
What do you think, Don?
As a female costumer who costumes the Star Wars universe, 10 out of my 12 costumes are male. So I think he's in fact canon male because of that. The fact that for the most part the better costumes, or excuse me, the more detailed or the stronger characters are thus male.
As far as story-wise is concerned, Doug, would you agree that maybe Revan might be better female, or are you just
No.
more concerned about the costuming angle?
No, I think he works great as a male. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's got
Well, I
so many
disagree with
strong
you, Don,
female counterparts. I know, but he's got so many strong female counterparts, to that story that, for him to be canon female would be very hard to swallow due to some of the experiences that he has with women, I think. And there's some tension going on there.
I know, isn't it great? Makes for a great show, I hear. All right, so go ahead, Mike. Would you have any questions as far as like our two guests are concerned?
Yeah, I guess I'll just keep it simple. How did both of you get into Star Wars? Like, are you part of like the original trilogy generation, or did you grow up with it, like that One Last Time VHS box set, or did you grow up with did you get introduced to it through the prequel trilogy?
I am a rare creature. I am a huge prequel and EU fan, despite being born long before the prequels. But I find I have a lot more in common and interest in the prequel costumes. The stories, I don't per se mind much of it. At least I don't have any arguments with a lot of it. So I am a terrible person to talk to as far as, oh, I hate this and that and Disney buying it, and I'm a huge fan of all that.
Well, then again, Dawn has been she's been photographed, I would say, thousands of times in her prequel costumes, as primarily as. Go ahead.
Queen Amidala. I do Queen Amidala most.
And a gorgeous, gorgeous Queen Amidala costume.
Stop it. Thank you.
Hands down, I think they're the best out there.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. It's definitely a nice outfit.
Well, as a Star Wars fan, I have to point out that technically she's Sabé in that costume, but she's in her capacity as a Queen Amidala decoy.
I have 3 others. We're fine.
But
I like bedroom Padme.
I do too.
I feel funny agreeing to that, but yeah, I kind of like that one too.
It's all right. I just like the counterpart costumes. So. He is like, I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I'm searching frantically for like a picture of Dawn, where she's in her decoy costume.
I think all those Padme, like the bedtime Padme, they just bring out the angsty best in Anakin.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Allure
talk
of
about
swimming
that.
beads.
Mhm.
We're gonna have to talk about like all these wonderful people that grace the presence of our Queen Amidala person here. There are a few costumers who really enjoy hanging out with Dawn, because, well, she produces great costumes. She's extremely photogenic, and in person she's really gracious to people who want to take her pictures, or like when little kids come over, she really appeals to them, and she really knows how to work it. She's really a superstar, especially when she's in costume.
She's very approachable. That is just one of Dawn's great things. Anyone can come up to her, and she makes them feel very welcome.
That's always a good thing.
Considering how busy she is, this woman is frantically busy. It's nothing short of a miracle that I was able to get her here, and yet she manages to find time to slow herself down and talk to the great unwashed like myself.
Stop it.
Were you at Celebration 6?
No, I was not. This will be my first celebration coming up here in 2015.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you'll have a lot of fun celebrations.
I'm a very new cosplayer. I have only been cosplaying a year now. Not due to costuming, or making costumes, but the whole scene of it, I just, like I tell people, my only regret is not joining sooner. I didn't know about it.
Same
The
here.
whole-
I've been doing it less than you, Dawn, and yeah, I wish I'd known about it sooner.
Yeah.
Who do you cosplay as, Jennifer?
I have a Jedi and just got a Princess Leia that's brand new.
What, A New Hope Leia? Or?
Yes, the classic New Hope Leia, the white dress, the cinnamon buns. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best outfit in my opinion.
I like it. It's
I
fun.
agree.
Yeah.
You don't see like a ton of classic Leias when you go to conventions. It's always Slave Leia, so it's nice to see kind of a change up on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and there's
a great
Dawn.
costume.
Yeah.
It's a great costume for doing charity events in. Kids love it. It's one
Yeah.
of the ones that people really, really tend to flock to.
And I think because I have children of my own and I was a teacher for a while, I love being able to get with the kids and just see their faces. And my first event as Princess Leia, these girls came up and they hugged me and called me Princess Leia and asked how I was doing and all. It was really wonderful.
So I have here up on a screen share Dawn in her Queen Amidala decoy costume. In this picture, I don't know if it's up on your screen. This is where she basically won another Best Costume Award. This time she was on a cruise for Halloween. And the costumes that she beat were just awesome. I remember she beat an entire Batman and villains costuming group that were awesome. And, they came in a poor second. The entire ship was basically rooting for her specifically.
As they should have.
They were rooting for all of us.
They all had to bow before the Queen. So I just had to share that because I'm probably her biggest fan.
I'll fight you for that, JM. Because Dawn is amazing when it comes to costumes.
Guys.
Yes,
You are. You know it.
she is.
No, I will just help everybody.
Eventually, I'm going to get you to sew me a Cartho Nasty jacket. That's my goal.
Whew, that is detailed.
So as you can tell, there's a lot of love for the EU in this podcast here.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I love the original trilogy. I think that was the one I grew up on. I was the only girl in my neighborhood, so I always had to play Princess Leia, despite the fact I wanted to be Han Solo or Darth Vader. But once the games started coming out, Knights of the Old Republic was what really captured me. I would say it's what stole me away from Star Trek, was Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, JM, I remember when I talked to you a couple of months ago, you were telling me that Knights of the Old Republic is what reinvigorated your interest in Star Wars, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought I was out, but I tried Knights of the Old Republic, and it just pulled me right back in. And I'm and it's through my love for Star Wars, a renewed love for Star Wars, that I was able to actually meet wonderful people like Dawn and Jennifer here. They're really, really awesome. I feel very privileged to count them as my friends.
I feel the same way, JM. It's been an absolute honor knowing you.
I paid them to say that.
I concur.
I'm just kidding. I'm broke. But so Dawn, how many costumes would you say you have currently approved? It is May. What date is it? It is May 22nd, 2014. So as of today, how many do you have approved?
I have 11.
I'm sure by the end of the day I'll probably be like 20, right?
Oh, that's so funny.
I joined the Rebel Legion about a year before Dawn did. I have one. I have one costume approved.
I just realized today's my anniversary. I joined the Legion exactly 1 year ago today.
Oh,
happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary, yeah.
See, we're celebrating our anniversary on the first ever show of Mike's here.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah,
send in a
congratulations.
costume real quick. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. We should have been in costume for this.
Oh
That
my
would've
It's our
been
god.
cool.
anniversary.
What are you guys talking about? I am.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Nice.
who
These
saw
are
the?
my friends, baby.
Did anyone
Yes.
see Did anyone see the J.J. Abrams UNICEF video yesterday?
Do you
Yes,
happen to have
yes.
$50,000 I can borrow? Just wondering.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean that's. What do you guys think about that original trilogy-esque alien?
I think it was
Get on it.
awesome.
Oh my god, he's so cute. I can't wait to see more.
I know. The fact that they're bringing in the practical effects like this is just wonderfully hopeful. I have to admit, I was quite crushed when they announced they got rid of the EU. But this has rekindled my hope in the new movie coming up, seeing the practical effects.
I am such a fan of J.J. Abrams. I'm such a
Yep.
losty.
Yep. I'm so glad that he's taking over at least, this movie.
I think we're gonna get like a
Yeah.
really good story out of this too. I hope.
I really can't think of anybody else better to back it up money-wise than Disney. I mean, they seem to have let go of the reins and just brought back the old writers and brought back the old ideas.
Well, Disney knows magic. They know how to make that happen. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah, I definitely like the design for that alien. It has a very like old school cantina, Jabba's palace type of feel to it, and I think it's great that they're going back with like actual puppets. I mean, I'm not totally opposed to CGI, and I love the prequel trilogy. I mean, I saw the Phantom Menace when I was, you know, I saw the Phantom Menace when I was 9, so I grew up with the prequels and the original trilogy, but even though I love the prequels, I have to admit that the CGI was, in my opinion, a little excessive. So I like to see that kind of like a happy medium, used a little less. But yeah.
well, it's
I
very much
agree.
like Lord of the Rings. That mix of CGI and then practical effects came out very beautiful in the movies, and I think it was like again, The Hobbit just kind of overdid it on the CGI, and it doesn't have that same charm that the Lord of the Rings had. And it's like that with the prequels too. It was just way too much green screen, and it didn't. I don't think it holds up well past the movie screen.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to touch on really quick, I know we're kind of hopping from topic to topic, is a little bit of the background of my two friends here, because they have such an extensive background that is really, really impressive. For example, my friend Dawn here, she's the only person I know who has work, if I'm not mistaken, still hanging in a museum. Is that correct?
I was a concept artist for a while with the Yogi and Company, and I dabbled in doing a little bit of fine art just for fun. Very hard for a digital artist to work in the fine art arena. People have so many ideas about what digital is. So then costuming wise, I make everything from scratch. I don't use any patterns. I make it up as I go along and just kind of cross my fingers, and I watch a lot of tutorials and do a lot of research on what I do. So visually, I think being an artist helps me with the seamstressing aspect, because I can see scenes and then I can form the patterns based off of that, just starting to cut into material. Yeah.
What's what costume has taken you the longest amount of time to create?
It's probably, it's either the very first, which is that Black Invasion gown. Jar Jar is a very close second. I had to hand string hundreds of bead strands by hand, and it was time intensive, very time intensive.
Oh wow, I didn't know you had a
Armor
Jar Jar
Keeper.
costume. Let's check
I
that.
do.
Check that one
Yeah,
out.
she's actually made people like Jar Jar because she's so lovable, and we know it's her in there. We go, we hate Jar Jar, but it's gone now. So it's like, and
His
love
reception's
triumphs
amazing.
over hate, I guess.
Yeah, I always worry that I'm gonna have to have a pack of Jedi around me to protect me, and he does all right. People want to hug me and high five me because I think they hate him so much that. What do you do? You know. I have very obscure EU and prequel costumes, so yeah.
I think
My
people
my
love to hate Jar Jar though. That's why
they
they take to it so well.
do.
I used to absolutely detest Jar Jar Binks, but now that I know Dawn is doing a Jar Jar costume, it's like she washed it away, And so speaking of artists, Jennifer was a. Can we talk about your art background a little bit?
But I don't really have much of one. I was a designer for a long time, and then decided I really didn't like working professionally in the arts. So I left and I started teaching, and I liked that a lot more. Kids are way more awesome than design. So yeah.
Yeah. And you're working on a female Darth Revan costume or Revan costume, right?
Yes, the Starforge, which is the armor you get at the end of the game when you unlock that. I think it's a gorgeous costume, and I think it's a very feminine outfit as well, which is another one of my reasons why I think Revan was intended to be female. Some of those outfits are just so gorgeously flowing and feminine. You get this leather chest plate and then the white flowing robes, which is very light side. If you take your Revan character light side, you get that armor. That's what I've been researching, working on, trying to figure out how to work with leather, speaking with other leather workers as well to find out. So.
That armor, which is like the best armor you could possibly have in that game, is so feminine. I refused to wear that armor when I was playing Revan for the game, just because I had, I didn't want to be dressing in drag in a video game. That was the way I interpreted it. But and look at me now. Flip. So Dawn, I see like a lot of thread and boxes behind you, and is that a mannequin or something behind you there?
Is. I'm working on costumes. It's my sewing room. It's a mess.
Which one are you working on right now, Dawn?
That's Lothmere from World of Warcraft. It's one of my first non-Star Wars costumes. I'm working on it for BlizzCon.
Well, what is the costume again, Dawn?
Lothmere Theron, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
From World of Warcraft?
Super, super sexy blood elf.
So basically you.
No, actually, it's not my costume. No, that would be Sylvanas. No, but she's not a blood elf, though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask both of you if you answered my question. I was going to ask both of you if you've made any non-Star Wars costumes. What about you, Jennifer? Any non-Star Wars costumes? Or?
Unless you count Renaissance fair gear, I haven't. Not really. But I don't know. I think that's kind of mandated for most nerds, isn't it? Having the Ren Fair.
I think most of us came from Ren Fair. I really did.
And then I have to admit, what attracted me to Ren Fair is what attracts me to Star Wars. It's, Ren Fair was the broadsword, which I have. And then, of course, Star Wars, the lightsabers. That's what I think I really fell in love with was the lightsaber.
Yeah. Do you guys think that there's anything... Oh, sorry. I was going to say, like, slightly off topic, but I've been wondering, with a prequel trilogy, we had, Darth Maul's dual-bladed lightsaber. That's something new that the prequels brought to lightsabers. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think yeah, Jar-Kai Ahsoka practiced that. That probably existed before Clone Wars, right? But so we had like a different style. So basically, what I'm getting at is, I wonder if the sequel trilogy is going to bring something new to the lightsaber, area.
I have no doubts. Have you seen that new lightsaber from Rebels? Oh my goodness, I will take two.
Oh yeah, the Inquisitors, yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait for Advanced Light Weaponry, which is a lightsaber making company, to produce the their take on the Star Wars Rebels lightsabers. I saw a lightsaber that was produced by Advanced Light Weaponry, specifically for the cyborg Darth Maul, and it's just awesome. It's like has like this S shape to it, and it's like just completely black, and it's just wicked. So stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw pictures of the cyborg Darth Maul lightsaber. That's really awesome. And getting back to the Inquisitor's lightsaber hilt, he actually, if you've seen the trailer, he wears it on his back. Like, so that's interesting.
No,
Oh, amazing.
Awesome. I'm wondering now if Don Bright is considering making an Inquisitor costume.
No, not the Inquisitor. I wish I could remember his name. It's the adorable little guy from it. He's what?
Ezra ECRX.
No, it's not. It's not the human. It's the It's a really short. Yeah, that's it. Yes, I've already looked into the prosthetics.
Yeah, that's based off of Macquarie concept Chewbacca.
He's adorable.
Yeah, there's a lot of like I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with like the Rebels news, but since they announced it, basically they've said that they're very honest in saying that their inspiration has been mainly Ralph McQuarrie for a lot of the things that they're doing.
Good choice.
And that's something that I've noticed about the Star Wars universe, is that if something isn't used right away, eventually it's used. Like, even names like Mace, that was in one of the original drafts. There's a character named Mace, and then eventually that was used. So everything in Star Wars, it seems eventually it's going to get used mostly.
I agree.
Nice, I agree.
Yeah,
Jennifer,
so
you're muted, just in case you didn't know.
yeah, so so have you guys seen the Rebels trailer, or?
I did.
I try to stay away from trailers because I like to be completely surprised. So I'm kind of weird that way.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, everyone's got their own thing. It's cool.
I hope that they have some more news on it at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, I'm sure that they will. I think, the show starts this fall, so yeah, I think we'll definitely see some more news on it. In case you guys didn't know, they have like little snippets that show like the character, and then they have the voice actor. They talk to them, and then Dave Filoni and some of the art guys talk about it a little bit. Those are all over YouTube. They've been out for a while now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to actually see at Comic-Con some more, maybe 10, 15 minutes of the first episode. I know sometimes they do that with things. I don't know, just maybe a hope. But, yeah, they've got to have something for it since it comes out in the fall.
Yeah, at Star Wars weekends, they actually have a new clip, but you won't find it online because it's, I forget which show it is. Not Stars of the Saga. I think it's Behind the Force, if they still call it that. And Ashley Eckstein's hosting it, and every single week they'll have the respective Rebels voice actor that's there. And last year, what they did was during the same concept, they had that Lost Mission Season 6 clip of Yoda, Anakin assisting him leave the hospital. But people recorded that, and that was like everywhere over YouTube. But this year, I guess since Disney, it's their in-house project, I guess they're being more strict with it, obviously, and they're not allowing anyone to videotape it. I won't say what I've heard is on there, in case you guys don't like spoilers. But yeah, so there has been more clips released, and we'll probably see that after weekends.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure.
I'm sure there's going to be someone sitting there with a cell phone holding it up during the show and trying to record it.
Oh, you can get in so much trouble.
I know. They'll yeah, probably kick you out for that.
Oh yeah. Oh, a little more than that.
Yeah. So.
Face to face with the mouse himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to Celebration Anaheim, also known as Celebration Sevens, because it's relatively local for us. We live about anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Would you say?
Well, that's nice. I'm going to be going from the other side of the country.
Yeah. Well, last time I had to go to the other side of the country, so
Yeah.
when I meet up with you over here, I'll be glad to show you a little bit of SoCal.
Oh, cool.
Southern
Yeah.
California.
I've never been to California before, so it's
We
definitely.
can go to Disneyland.
Yeah, it's right across the street.
Yeah, I've heard people say that it's literally right across the
It's
street.
It is
Literally
literally
across
across the
the street.
street.
Oh
You
wow,
cross one street and you're there.
Yeah.
that's cool.
It's really hard to avoid the temptation when you're there for like WonderCon or anything else. You're like, well, Disneyland's right there, and especially the whole Star Tours
go in
thing.
costume.
I am so jealous, Dawn. I just want to go tomorrow and ride Star Tours in my Jedi costume over
I'm
and
leaving
over
in
again.
3 hours. I'll be in line at midnight.
Oh, you'll be landing at midnight. You'll get to ride
I
one
will.
ride.
I'm lining up. Yeah.
Nice. I think what is
Yeah,
it tomorrow?
WonderCon.
24-hour Disneyland?
Well, for all those who don't know, there's a 24-hour event at Disneyland this weekend. Okay, tomorrow, and it starts at 6 a.m. But people are lining up at midnight tonight in costume to try and score a lanyard. We're allowed inside the park in full costume come 6 a.m. for 24 straight hours. The park will be open for.
And I think it's also important to note, too, you can't even wear a costume in downtown Disney, which is the
No.
shopping mall outside the park. They are very strict on, people coming in for costumes. Like WonderCon's across the street. A lot of people walked
Yes.
over in their costumes and were sent away by security.
Yep.
So this is a really big deal for costumes, especially people who like anything in the Disney universe, which now includes Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I mean, come on, riding Star Tours as a Jedi, that would just be...
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to let us in downtown Disney tonight.
Well,
You know-
some people are lining up in costume, right?
Yeah, but not in downtown Disney. I really wonder if they'll send us away. But that's on a side note. But anyway,
But yeah, they'll probably make you stay in line then.
maybe.
Just because of this conversation, I'm now making it my goal to ride Star Tours in my Imperial night costume. So now I have a new deadline.
There you go.
So,
Well, come on, James. You gotta get up and you gotta get in line at midnight. So
I'm going to ride it in Vader tomorrow. So.
oh, jealous.
well, I was thinking Halloween at Disney. I'm going to be on a panel this Saturday in LA, so unfortunately I won't be able to do the Disney thing. And my wife is away on a conference in Chicago, so it's just not right to go to Disney without my wife. So.
Aw. Yeah, I planned my little girl's birthday for this weekend, so I should probably stay here and prepare for it rather than running off to play Star Wars. I mean, we do that pretty much every other weekend anyways.
Right. So, I'd like to talk more about, I think what we have here is like kind of both spectrums of people joining the Star Wars costuming groups, the 51st Legion and Rebel Legion. Dawn, on one hand, has been with Rebel Legion of Fire Force for like a year now, right? Exactly. Today's your anniversary,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
And you have, to date, so far, 11 costumes. By next year, probably double that.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer joined officially a few months ago, relatively recently. I think this year, right?
Yeah, it
Was it
was
this year?
for that big Legoland event. That was my first official troop.
Right.
But the
And-
first time I came out with you was in October of last year for a Halloween parade.
Right. You came out in costume, and then you were approved this year, early this year,
Yes.
with a lot of help from Dawn.
Oh yeah, that's Dawn is so awesome.
Right.
It was a lot of help from her, and help from you too, JM.
Oh, I just introduced you. I did really nothing, but
Oh no, you did.
thank you. You're too kind. But so I'd like to get both of your feelings on joining these Star Wars costuming groups. Well, let's start off with Jennifer here first. Being that this is your first, you're not even through your first year. What do you think so far?
Well, to be honest, I signed up on the forums. Well, my first introduction was with you, JM, at WonderCon last year. Asking questions. I was actually trying to get my little cousin signed up. So somehow, I don't know how I ended up in the guild, but I have to admit I'm really glad I am meeting you. You pointed me to the forums. I signed up there, and it was Dawn who reached out to me with a lot of help and advice.
You mean the Legion, right? You mean Legion, not Guild, right?
Yeah, sorry again.
Your Renaissance is showing there.
It is.
Oh, I understood what you said, so.
But yeah, so it was Dawn who was like the first person to say hi to me on the forums and get me going down the path to getting my first costume approved, and yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm glad you mentioned WonderCon, because WonderCon is the first time I ever heard of Dawn Bright. I remember I was at the Rebel Legion table, and everyone there, these veteran senior costumers, were going, "Oh my God, did you see this Queen Amidala costumer? She's so wonderful. Let's all go run off and see her." And I'm the one left at the table. Right? So fast forward like a month later, Dawn shows up at the local Relay for Life, and I get to see her costume finally, and actually get to meet her. She's just so awesome. Dawn, what do you think of your experiences with the 501st and Rebel Legion so far?
An absolute blast. Upon joining, or shall we say, upon making my costume, I actually made it as a Halloween costume. And I'm pretty anal retentive when it comes to my costuming, and it apparently ended up being screen accurate enough to just straight out be approved without any issues. 6 months later,
with a lot of modesty. Dawn is so modest. Everywhere she goes in that costume,
I call it luck.
She has fans.
Oh, no fans.
She does. She has fans. 2 of them are sitting right here, right now.
No, you guys are my friends. It's different.
We can be both, can't we?
You guys are paid to be nice to me.
No, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I sit and worship.
Well, thank you. I always appreciate the kind words. I really do. I truly do this for the fun and the charity and the meeting new people.
I am in awe of your skills, to be honest. It is the amount of work and dedication you put into it, and just your natural talent too. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
Yep. Everywhere, whenever we see Dawn Bright go on a trooping event, where the 501st or the Rebel Legion go out and attend like a charity event or something like that, all the other costumers who she never met just flock to her. And next thing you know, her Facebook has like 10 more friends.
Well, part of that too is Dawn stands out from the crowd so much, and that's like we're standing there in generic Jedis. Even to a point, stormtroopers can be a little bit generic. Dawn always has the one costume that no one else has.
I will agree with you on the no one else has part. I really truly have a batch of costumes that are Legion first, a pile of them. At this
Even
point.
if it is Jar Jar, right?
What?
Even if it is Jar Jar.
Yeah,
right?
well, I have the Jar Jar. I have the Revan, which is a Legion First. I have the Star Killer, which is a Legion First.
What is
What
your favorite costume, Don? What is your absolute favorite costume that you have that's approved to date?
Right now,
Yes.
that's really hard. Approved, it might be Palpatine. And I didn't think I would love that costume so much.
I have to admit, Dawn, at WonderCon, walking around with you as
what version of
Palpatine.
Star Killer?
What?
Oh, I said what version of Star Killer? Because that dude's
I
got.
actually, that's the funny part is that I think he has more costume changes than Padme.
Yeah.
I actually have 3. I have the Star Killer concept Sith robes. I have the Jedi Adventures robes, which are my personal favorite. I am a huge Altair fan and Assassin's Creed fan, so that costume completely appeals to me. And then I also have the Dark Apprentice robes, which is the alternate canon, whatever, ending where Darth Vader, kills Star Killer, and he's got his new apprentice behind him. I call it the mini Vader costume. It's got like this armor right here like Vader and a little nice dark hood. I love me some Star Killer.
Are you talking about the one where he has the black hood and it's got like red? It has like a red interior.
That is the concept Sith robes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I fell in love with those first. I might have a picture of it. I don't even know how to share though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, it's really cool. Wow.
Thank you.
I have to ask. I'm a really big fan of the Jedi Temple Guard design.
It's so funny you would say that. I'm working on
working?
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool because they're Hasbro announced that. Well, not announced, but a pamphlet through. I think it was from one of their Disney Store exclusive toys. It was revealed that they're going to be making an action figure of that character design, and I was really ecstatic when I heard that because I really like that design and it's just really unique. I mean, there are some things like where were they when Darth Vader was slaughtering the Jedi in the temple, but it's a really cool character design. So.
Oh, they're so amazing looking.
You see,
Yeah,
Don,
really
I think you're going to get enough costumes together. You're just going to film your own Star Wars movie, aren't you?
That'd be funny.
Just so long as I have you guys to put it in, because that's the problem. I've got more costumes than I have human bodies.
Hey, I will always wear the pregnant Padme because that is comfortable.
That is a comfortable costume.
Looks like pregnant Padme. So when she had on that costume at WonderCon, we're gonna take this opportunity to say goodbye to Jennifer. She has to run. She has, like I said, both of these wonderful women are so busy, and it's just a miraculous privilege I was able to get her on them both on the show at the same time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks a lot for joining us. It was great talking to you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you as well. Bye. Have a good weekend.
So now we have Dawn Dorsell.
Oh no.
So yeah, the Temple Guard is just such an amazing costume, and I when I just saw that scene, I just
did.
Whenever you see this new costume, after knowing Dawn, you go, I wonder if Dawn is thinking, that's a good costume. I could make that in 15 minutes.
They're beautiful. Anything truly unique, I love.
So when you go to conventions, do you have like a hard time choosing which costume you want to wear? Or?
Nope, I just bring 5 or 6.
Dawn, okay, at WonderCon, I have to tell this story. At WonderCon, we had the 501st Legion show up and Rebel Legion show up, and we did an initial group photo of everyone who attended on that day, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, Dawn is in both. So, does she wear a costume that is approved by both sides? No, not Dawn. No. First, she wears her Emperor Palpatine robes with the prosthetic mask that's glued to her face, right? With the nails and just the hands and The whole thing, right? Picture, 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 picture. Focus on Dawn. Picture, 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 picture. More pictures. And then, okay, it's time for Rebel Legion to take the stage and have their pictures taken.
That's funny.
Enter like a couple of roadies. We basically witnessed the fastest ever costume change out in public. Done like that.
It was nuts.
And it was
I
great.
flung that robe off me, and I had the whole pregnant Padme costume on under it with a full like belly.
I actually have my iPad right now, and I have to look at some of these pictures because I've only seen like one of your costumes, so I gotta check these out.
Oh yeah, if you check out Reddit and all these other, blogs of WonderCon, you're going to find at least 2 or 3 pictures of bare minimum, 2 or 3 pictures of Dawn.
You can always go to my
there.
Facebook page. It's wide open. I don't have the whole privacy thing. I probably should, but I really don't.
Okay, I see the pregnant Padme outfit. That's really cool. That looks just like me.
Thank you.
And she looks like Padme, like straight on.
I do not.
Looks like Natalie Portman when she has like that deer in the headlight look that she puts on. Oh my God. Dawn is the complete costume because she takes on the personality. When she was Palpatine, she was walking through WonderCon, right? And she was creeping people out in the best way possible. You know how? She'd walk up to people and go, "Hi, want to build a snowman?" And
A lot of people don't know the costumes I have,
adults.
the costumes I own. Like a lot of people don't know I have a Darth Vader and a battle damage Vader.
Wow.
Weird
That's
costumes like that. So like they have no clue it's me because of the prosthetics.
And like you see how how cute she looks, right? She's absolutely adorable,
No.
right?
But thank you.
She's this total hottie, and then she wears these grotesque prosthetics. You can't tell, and she scares young children sometimes. And then she puts on the charm, and they're like, "Oh, Palpatine, I want a hug." It's great. It's just it's a wonder to behold.
Okay, I see this picture. I don't know what you call the outfit, but with the purple headdress for Queen Amidala, that is
Purple
cracking
travel
me.
gown?
You're throwing up the West Side sign. That is hysterical. I love that. That's really because when I was younger, I used to listen to like Tupac and the stuff. All the time. That's hysterical.
Hey, he's a member of the Inland Empire Saber team, so
I get very silly in these costumes. I always tell people I make the worst Padme because I smile too darn often.
That's a really funny picture. Oh wow, and I see this Jar Jar outfit's really amazing.
Thank you.
Really cool.
How she manages to breathe in that thing is just beyond me. She needs fans.
I need fans. I need something.
So where is that actual Jar Jar mask from?
So, it's the one thing that held me back from making that costume for a while. I call it fate. It all kind of came together. My Anakin cracked a joke that we should do a Anakin and Jar Jar, and so I actually went home and made it because they're the 2 most loved or loved characters in the Star Wars universe and all. So I went home, I eBayed, I found a guy who was selling it, and I bought the thing just as quickly as I could get it. It is a Dawn Post Deluxe from 1999. I am not entirely sure how many people bought the thing, but it doesn't look the same as everybody else's Dawn Post 1999 mask. Mine has giant, beautiful, floppy ears. It's soft. It's delicate. I don't know where to find another one. My worst fear is that thing breaking. I'm gonna have to buy another one, and I'm gonna pay probably $600-700 when I have to replace it, because I will replace it.
Yeah, these outfits are amazing.
Thank you.
I see I think I see the Star Killer one.
Oh yeah.
In this picture where it's like a Star Killer like raising his fist in front of a battle damage Vader. Which one?
Those are both of mine, and I'm actually the battle damage Vader. And my friend Matt so graciously shaved his full face so that he would wear my my Jedi Adventures robes for me, because
Yeah, these are really cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, definitely.
So, Mike, I had to ask you a question. Have you considered acquiring a Star Wars costume for yourself and perhaps joining the Rebel Legion, or maybe even the 501st?
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm interested in. It's going to be pretty costly for me to go to Anaheim, so I don't know if it's something I could accomplish anytime soon. But I'm definitely running out of space, like, because I'm a huge action figure collector, and I'm definitely starting to run out of space. So, I collect from the original trilogy and prequels and Clone Wars, like the animated style figures, and I'm definitely starting to see that space is becoming an issue. And just the whole thing with I don't know if you guys are aware, but the lines pretty much regressed for a good part. Like, there's 5 points of articulation now for a lot of things instead of being super articulated. So, but mostly it's just due to space, and I kind of figured I'll kind of just cut it off. Like, anything that's post Disney buyout, I just won't get. I'll probably get like the main villain from the sequel trilogy, or because I've always preferred the villains over the heroes, even though I like the heroes a lot. But basically, what I'm getting at is that I'm really going to be cutting back on my action figure collecting. So now that I will be spending my money there, that'll give me an opportunity to get into costuming, maybe.
Well, if you ever need any kind of costume advice, I can hook you up. I know a girl.
Oh, thank you.
Her name's Dawn. She's super busy, though. So, Dawn, what would you recommend as like an initial starting costume for someone who isn't into costuming but might want to consider joining the Rebel Legion or the 501st? I guess for in Mike's case, it would probably be the 501st since he's more interested in the villains, right?
I always recommend, and unfortunately it's rubber related, for a man, Jedi robes. If you can sew yourself, you can do them in under $60. They don't take up much room. You can put them in a backpack and go. You know which one it is for the 501st, which would be the Imperial officer.
I personally, I would recommend the Imperial Bridge Crew is what I would recommend.
Yeah, that's a good one. They're both very easy to get a hold of for somebody else to make and to get approved. I hate to call anything easy with it, but if you have the right access to the right people, it's not a 3-year wait type of thing. For women, Princess Leia, oh my gosh, everybody loves her, and so cheap, so cheap.
I mean, I guess cheap is relative to someone's.
Well, it's the cheapest, I guess you could say.
Right. It's probably the least expensive.
Yes.
Because you're still talking about like $60 minus the boot. Well, that's not included the boots, right?
Yeah, the boots you can get for as low as $20. The belt is probably the most expensive, but I've even seen women make them themselves. You're talking $5, $10 in materials, but if you don't want to, $60. Then the dress itself will run you $30. I mean, and so gorgeous.
But that's just the raw materials. If you have someone else make it for you, that's where you start spending hundreds of dollars.
Yes, that's where your trouble comes in. That's where Jedi robes run $400. That's where Princess Leia runs $250 just for the dress itself. Time is money, I guess, is all you can say.
Well, I think if someone has a talent and someone's willing to pay for that high quality talent, I think the great thing about living in a capitalist society is we allow that.
Yeah.
For example, you, Don, you're extremely busy, and if I needed you to take some time out of your busy schedule to do something for my interests, well, it's only fair that I compensate you according to your talent.
Very
And
true.
it just so happens that, in my opinion, you're the biggest, fastest rising superstar in the 501st and Rebel
No.
Legion today.
You know what? Everybody's
I
going to hear
do.
this and hate my guts tomorrow.
No, well, if they do, then that's their own bitterness and resentment. They need to see a therapist. My opinion, it's my opinion. That's you. You are the biggest and fastest rising superstar in the 501st and Rebel Legion today. That's my opinion.
Thank you for your kind words.
I could be wrong, but that is my opinion. I may be biased, but no, I'm not.
Liar!
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to say, it's very easy to appreciate the fact that, especially someone like yourself who makes their own costumes, I mean, the first time I really ever saw like all these cosplayers and stuff in person was at Celebration 6, which isn't that long ago. The only time I saw people dress up before that was like when I was younger. I saw like Batman at the mall, and that's the only time I really saw people dress up as like a kid, at least with like a franchise, not like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or something like that, but with like a fan, franchise. I saw like Batman when I was younger, the Tim Burton Batman, and costume, and probably a couple other things I can't just think of off the top of my head right now. But when I was younger, I never really saw any Star Wars costumes. But I have to say, like, just the fact that all the work that the 501st and all these other costume organizations do for kids and everything, it's a really great thing.
Really,
Yeah.
that's why I do it. It's for those kids. It's those smiling faces. It's magical. It truly is, because you can put all this time and effort into this costume, and the costumes become so mainstream, and that's why I feel so fortunate to be a member of these groups, because I get to experience things like that. I do it for that aspect, not for the pats on the back and.
Yeah, I remember the first ever tribute event where I met Dawn was at Riverside Relay for Life, and I'm the one who put a call out for both 501st and Rebel Legion to show up. And there was a little boy. He was 5 years old, and he had 6 months to live. And basically, the 501st and Rebel Legion were there to, make it a kind of an event about him. And I, somewhere before where we were going to present him like gifts from Rebel Legion and 501st, I just absolutely lost it. I had to ask someone to take over for me. But the smiles that we put on that little kid's face, and you could see the cancer ravaging his body. I mean, his left eye was gone already, but the smiles that the costumers were able to put on his face, I think made the overall quality of his entire life that much better. And we live in Riverside where it was very, very hot. It was June, and the sun was out. It was very bright. It was very
110
hot.
degrees.
Right. And knowing that these costumers are there in such suffocating costumes where they literally risk bodily harm, like from dehydration, overheating, all that, to make children with such horrible diagnosis smile. It's, in my opinion, I don't want to use the word heroic, but it is a sacrifice on their part. Especially someone like Dawn. She had makeup on. She had all black.
It's definitely a very selfless, generous thing to do, definitely.
Well, for myself, I wouldn't say it's completely selfless, because one of the things that I like about Star Wars costuming is it's given me motivation to lose weight. When you see yourself in costume and you go, oh my gosh, I think I need to lose a little bit of that tummy there. It's really great motivation. And with the Inland Empire Saber team, one of our things that we're trying to promote is this nerd fitness concept, where people who are in the nerd geek dork lifestyle try to choose interests and hobbies that'll help them lead a more healthy lifestyle. And you know, I think costuming, if anything, helps with motivation.
I agree. I've lost 60 pounds
Oh,
since I
congratulations.
joined. Thank you. Looking fatter than like my counterparts to my costumes is really embarrassing, especially being Padme. She's 5'4" and 90 pounds. So
Oh my God, 90 pounds. Is she really?
She's tiny, and on top of it, I think I'm probably 5 to 10 years older than what I should be playing. So in that aspect, yes, I run every single day. I watch what I eat. I do. It's a real motivation. I don't want to walk up to, or I don't want a kid to walk up and, look at me and go, really? What are you doing in that costume? Yeah, I do have a slight fear of that, I admit. I've heard of, guys being called like Fatikin or, like Fat Vader, or it's just, that's horrible. It's terrible that somebody would ever do that, especially to somebody like us, who are out for the charity aspect. But, it is unfortunately a part of life. And I would never judge anybody, of course, But I'll take all the steps I darn well can to, maintain a healthy weight.
Well, I'm still definitely overweight, but I'm very thankful that I have this added motivation. Most of my friends are very overweight, and we talk about this a lot. And we've all agreed that as fat people, we know what to do. We just need to be motivated, and so that's one of the things that I'm personally grateful for. Especially if you're wearing armor. One of the worst things is to be like a fat guy wearing armor. And as a fat guy who has an armored costume, I can say that.
Makes you look bigger.
It just makes you look,
Yeah.
So, it's for me to get in a costume. I look at it, and the benefit there is I get healthier. I'm older. I have high blood pressure. I have all these health issues, and losing weight would really help my quality of life and help my longevity as well. I have a daughter, so I want to, live longer for her, especially.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the benefits of costuming. Who'd have thunk, right?
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't the first thing on my mind when I made a costume.
Yeah.
It is now.
You are awesome, Don Bright. I want to say that for the record. I am definitely one of your biggest fans. And I am unashamedly fawning over you on record and in public because you are such a wonderful person. And no, I'm not blowing sunshine up your rear end because I want a new costume from you.
No, I know you're not. You would never do that.
But of course, now that I have you thinking that.
Mm.
I might borrow your Palpatine robe there.
That's fine. Dawn does a lot of free costuming, if you can't tell.
So, anyway, Mike, do you have any other further questions for the lovely and very, very busy Don Bright?
I guess we've covered a lot with costuming, and it's really interesting stuff. I guess I'll ask you, how would you rank the 6 Star Wars movies?
Wait, what? Say it again?
How would you rank the 6 Star Wars movies from greatest to least?
Oh, okay. So it's
like from favorite to least favorite.
It's 3. Hold on. It's 3, 6.
3 is number 1.
3. Yes. 3, 6, 5. 1, 2. 5, 1, 2. Yeah. There we go. No, I'm missing one. 3.
I'm
6.
missing A New Hope.
5, 1, 4, 2. There we go.
3, 6, 5. So Revenge of the Sith,
You got
Jedi,
it. Yeah.
Empire. Okay, cool. So 365. Okay, so overall, you prefer the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy because you have 6 and 5 on your top
E-
three.
exactly. Although
Okay,
no.
cool. What about you, JM?
You know, I've always struggled with 3 and 6 as being number one, but I almost feel bad saying this, but I think I believe my favorite scene, my favorite of all of them is Revenge of the Sith, episode 3, and then number 6. 4 comes as definitely. I feel bad that no, that 4, the first movie I ever saw, in the Star Wars saga, is number 3. I feel like it should be number 1, and then gee, I would
Feel like
say
should be the first movie.
I think number 4 would be episode 1, simply because of Darth Maul. I think Darth Maul is such an awesome and uh, underused character, at least until the Clone Wars happened. And then I'd say Empire Strikes Back, and then Episode 2. The reason I'm saying I'm choosing Attack of the Clones as the last, even though I think Jango Fett is another underused character and such a wonderful character, is because I don't know. I was so disillusioned with the Star Wars universe at the time that I actually swore off Star Wars after watching Attack of the Clones. And it wasn't until Knights of the Old Republic until Revenge of the Sith, that I started to give Star Wars another chance. And then Knights of the Old Republic is what really drew me in, and I became a bigger Star Wars fan than ever.
Yeah, I mean, episode 2, I like it. It could have been better. The only thing, I mean, a lot of things that people detest and just despise about it, like the sand dialogue. I don't really mind that, but the only thing that I just really like cringe at is the apple floating scene. That's really the only thing. But everything else, everything else that everyone says about the prequels, like they don't like the delivery of the "I hate you" line in Revenge of the Sith, and
Oh,
they don't
I
like
love
all the stuff. Like I don't mind that. I can't believe that. I know we're kind of going off slightly off topic here, but I can't believe people could say that Hayden Christensen was a bad actor. I just
I
completely disagree with that. I feel like it's
yeah, me
just.
too.
Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I said me too.
Yeah,
Literally.
because like you have so many people, on the internet, and they'll just like say one thing, and then all of a sudden, like 10 people will just, uh, not even thinking, like they'll just agree with it. It's like, okay, how about you guys, like look in the mirror and try to say one of those lines and see how hard acting really is. Like they act like it's just something that's really easy to do. Like, and a lot of times people just say, "Oh, they're a bad actor." Well, what makes you think they're a bad actor?
Yep.
They just judge and criticize without even really thinking what they're saying. Like,
Agree.
Well, I kind of see it both ways. For example, Mark Hamill is, in my opinion, a really fantastic actor, because he can take lines written by George Lucas, which are really, really hard to make sound real, and he can make it sound like it's like, yeah, it's coming from the mouth of someone naturally. And I think that's perhaps the standard that a lot of Star Wars fans are used to. And then when you have lines like, "I'll try spinning. That's a good move." Yeah, I don't know how good you can make that. You know. So I attribute a lot of it to the nature of the script. I don't think the dialogue was that good in some parts. I think for me, I had issues with the way Mace Windu was represented. He seemed to have, like, I don't know. I don't see Jedi as trying to be badass. I see them as being more serene. And then I didn't like, from a story point of view, I just didn't like the idea of killing Jango Fett so quickly and almost in a trivial way. I mean, he dies because his jetpack misfires, and he has this horrible mistake of, I mean, why? I mean, his offensive capability is long range. Why is he like hopping into the pit? You know, or why can he just like stayed and just picked away at the Jedi from where he was? Instead, he hops into the pit and then gets his head lopped off. It just, you know,
Yeah, I
think
mean,
it was just like
that's definitely a good point. That's definitely a good point. I mean, I guess just for the sake of conversation, I'll just maybe, you know, he had like an adrenaline rush, and he just, you know, he let his pride get the better of him, and he thought he overestimated, you know, his abilities. But I definitely see what you're saying, and you got to
I think he became a plot. I think he became a plot device so that Mace Windu could become, you know, this badass fighter. You know what I mean? But I think they failed with that, even because really Mace Windu couldn't have hit him if his jetpack didn't misfire. So you know, like I said, I think I had too many questions about Attack of the Clones that I got disillusioned a little bit, and I in hindsight I think I should have given the Star Wars franchise a little bit more faith. Because look at me now, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, Mace Windu, you know, there were a ton of characters in the prequel trilogy that were kind of underutilized. You know, like, for example, Darth Maul and Mace Windu and Jango Fett. One thing I think, though, that kind of gets overlooked often is the animosity between Anakin and Mace Windu. But when, you know, when Anakin was a child, it was mostly Mace Windu. You know, Anakin was a free-spirited, you know, nice little kid, and Mace Windu's like, you know, no, we're not going to train him and stuff. And then it's like it builds up throughout the three movies, and then what's the straw that breaks the camel's back that kind of just puts Anakin or Darth Vader over the edge? You know, he assists in the death of Mace Windu. So I think that's kind of like a subtle thing that might get overlooked by a lot of people. Like, there's a nice like tension build up throughout the three movies, and it's like the same dude that was saying no, he doesn't want him to be trained, and Master, is he not the chosen one? Oh, so the prophecy says. You know, he always doubted him. He always kind of gave him a really hard time, and then it's like that's the guy that Anakin / Darth Vader kills to, you know, finally, you know, cement his, you know, evilness. Like,
there's a lot of nuances about those movies that people miss. You know, one scene that specifically comes to mind for me that a lot of people miss is where Anakin talks to Obi-Wan, and you see Anakin is standing in the dark and Obi-Wan is standing in the light. Just miss these strange nuances and these little things. Well, like in the very first movie, a lot of people think that they never knew that Padme was, you know, the whole decoy thing. And there's a scene right at the very end where they both look at each other, you know, after she the you know, with the queen the whole time, and they just look at each other like, duh, we knew. You know, a lot of people miss these little nuances about these movies. There's a lot of story, though. There's too much story to put into movies, I feel. But you know what? And the same turn on, it would have made people happy. You know?
yeah,
Yeah. I think if I had like one of my pet peeves with the Star Wars franchise, and I say this as a huge Star Wars fan, a lifelong Star Wars fan. I'm 48 years old. I was a Star Wars fan since I was 11. So, I have issues with some of the casting. Like, for example, I think Sam Jackson really would have made a better Count Dooku than a Mace Windu. I think in my opinion, they could have cast, traditional martial artist as a Mace Windu, because Mace Windu is supposed to be like the saber slinger, you know.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that they focused on him
if
enough.
I were to cast a Mace Windu, I would have cast like Danny Inosanto. Yeah. Just to finish my thought, I would have cast Danny Inosanto, who was Bruce Lee's sparring partner, and he has like these martial arts academies, and he's like this renowned stick fighter, and he wields with two hands, and he knows several weapons, and he's just this real life badass. I think make him Mace Windu, give him like 2 lines, who cares, but let him kick ass. And in the meanwhile, Sam Jackson's characters are known for exuding this malevolence, this anger, and whatever, which I really see as the Sith. And I think he would have been a great Mace Windu, much more threatening than, with all respect due, than Christopher Lee. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. I see where you're coming from with that. But overall, I guess anything in the sequel trilogy that you guys want to see that you could think of right now, like.
Oh, I have one.
I know it's kind of like a broad question, but like, is there anything like,
Oh yeah.
just what are you expecting? What are your hopes for the sequel trilogy? Like stuff you'd like to see?
I want, what I really like to see, and I don't know why it's so off base from everything we've talked about and obscure. I would love for them to go more into the rule of 2 with the Sith. Like I feel like it's so just bombarded with just so many different ideas and things that they need to make it concrete, and they need to put it in the movie, and they need to make sure that that's what they're going to go with. Whether or not there's 3, now there's an apprentice, and then there's there's this guy, but he's got 2 apprentices, and somebody needs to explain that somewhere, somehow.
Yeah, they always have like assassins and everything.
Yeah. Yes. It's not just 2. This is the reason why we said it was 2. I don't know, something.
I completely agree.
And then
with
also
doing away with the rule of 2. I really do. Completely agree.
Yeah. And I feel like if it's in the movie, it makes it real for the majority of people. It's not this one random line in a book that everybody argues about. I hate the whole random arguing with the whole EU garbage. It's infuriating at times.
Right. What I'd like to see.
this actually.
Go ahead.
Oh, you sure you don't want to go?
Okay. Well, I'll try to make it quick. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see an Asian Jedi. I'd like to see an Asian male Jedi. As an Asian male, just speaking for the rest of us Asian males, a lot of the Jedi are inspired by Asian type cultures, like Japanese and all that. So we'd like to see an Asian male wielding something that's looks like an Asian weapon, which is like a lightsaber, and being all Asian. We want to be represented. Like when Star Trek first came on TV, people were very pleased to see the mix of the different ethnicities in the major cast, in the principal cast. Whereas with Star Wars, and I'll go out and say it, some people of color, myself, I'm referring to myself most likely here, are a little bit taken aback by what looks like tokenism, and some misrepresentation of in the movies. Considering how Star Wars is such a worldwide phenomenon, it would be really nice for other ethnicities to be represented in the principal cast.
Well, I'd be a fool. You'd be a fool to say that the Jedi robes, for example, are not based very heavily in, Asian culture. Okay. Padme gowns, for example. There's a huge one. Mongolian, Japanese, Chinese. But I completely agree with you. Completely.
Yep.
Despite all that.
So just a shout out to the casting directors. If you need like an Asian male who can use a lightsaber, let me know.
Well, you better get your $50,000 ticket in then. Oh, hey, maybe just one $5.
I know, right? And the more important thing is help with UNICEF getting some funds.
Yeah, I agree. pop out your $5.
I was born and raised in the Philippines, and the Philippines is one of the countries that receives a lot of benefits from UNICEF. So I'm definitely a big supporter. I'm sorry. So Mike, you were saying?
Yeah, JM, that was a good point that you brought up. I mean, they did have, before I get to what I was gonna say, I mean, Bolter Swan, I think that's how you pronounce it. She was an Asian female that was in the Geonosis battle arena, but I don't think we've seen an Asian male Jedi yet, and I think that's a strong possibility that we'll see. Even if, it might be a background character or it might be a character that has a significant amount of dialogue, but I think, we might see that in the sequel trilogy, and that would be a good thing. The point that I wanted to bring up was, how do you guys feel? Because once Dawn started talking about the rule of two, that made me think, will the Sith definitely be in this movie? And I think they probably will, because Disney spent $4 billion buying Star Wars, and they're not going to use a formula that doesn't work,
No.
But basically what I'm getting at is that if the Sith return, that kind of undermines and basically just flat out ignores the whole Chosen One prophecy. So it kind of takes, I mean, I know it was never explicitly said in the original trilogy, but with the addition of the prequel trilogy, there's this whole Chosen One prophecy, and if you have the Sith in the sequel trilogy and the Sith reemerge, it definitely takes away from the significance of that whole prophecy. I guess, being like a major prequel fan also, that's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, if you're strictly an original trilogy purist, you're much less likely to feel that way, because it was never explicitly stated that there was, Darth Vader was the chosen one. It was basically just more of a story of like a father's redemption, and a guy, just making up for all the wrongs that he did, and helping his son out, like a father-son story. But with the addition of the prequels, you have this prophecy. So what do you guys think about that?
A prophecy misread, it could have been.
Maybe that's why they threw that little line in there.
Well, I mean, bringing balance to the Force thing doesn't necessarily mean they were getting rid of them. There's always, and to bring balance to them just means that just be equal amount of power between both of them. So you cannot abolish the Sith. They have to, regardless of how much the Jedi are in power, there will always be some pull. There has to be, because you have to have both. You have to.
Yeah. I think that the Sith is a label, and you could say, well, the Sith are gone. Now enter the Blorf. They're actually worse than the Sith, or something like that. I think, but how they introduce the new villains is going to be really interesting.
That's one thing that I have, I don't know, better word than argued about with many people, is that, once again, it goes back to the whole rule of two thing. They don't have set lines of exactly what an apprentice is, exactly what a Sith Lord is, exactly what a Sith is, exactly what the master and apprentice relationship is, and exactly why they can only have one, and it's completely convoluted. Everyone has an idea of what an apprentice is. Darth Maul is an apprentice. Is he a Sith Lord? Is he an apprentice? Is he a master? There's going to be only, one. I that out.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, maybe we'll learn more about that. Hopefully, that's elaborated on. My laptop is actually going to be dying soon, but so it was. If you guys have anything else that you want to say, but first, I just want to say thanks a lot for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it, and thanks for the support. And really intrigued and interested in all the different costumes that you have done, and Jennifer as well. And JM, is really nice talking to you again. But so anything else you guys want to say?
May the force be with you.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to both you, Mike, and Dawn, and also to Jennifer for taking the time out to do this video podcast. And it's always a pleasure. Hope you'll have us again.
I am truly honored. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on the show. All right, so thanks a lot for watching, everybody. This has been the first episode of From a Certain Point of View, and I hope that there will be many more. So, as Dawn said before, may the force be with you.